Welcome, wanderers, to Wanderlust Stories, where myths breathe and forgotten meanings quietly wait to be remembered. My name is Wanderlust, and tonight, I want you to look at something familiar. When I look at this image, a gingerbread house in winter, a mother, a father, a son, and two little girls made of sugar and spice, it feels safe, warm, familiar. But here's the part that stopped me cold. Every single one of them is made to be eaten. And once I realized that, I couldn't stop asking myself, why do we keep telling children stories where entire families are baked, alive, and then disappear? Because this isn't just about a gingerbread man anymore. This is about a gingerbread family, a home built from food, parents shaped from dough, children smiling in the snow, and somehow we call this comforting. So tonight, I want to walk you through what I uncovered. Why stories like this exist, why they repeat across cultures, and why the idea of edible families goes back thousands of years. And I promise you, once you see it, you won't look at fairy tales the same way again. Let's start with what we think we know. The gingerbread man, baked by an old couple who never had children. He comes to life, he runs, he sings, he boasts. But what always bothered me, even as a kid, was how everyone wants to eat him. Not monsters, not villains, farm animals, workers, ordinary beings just doing what they do. Which made me wonder, what if the gingerbread man isn't prey but provision? Look again at the thumbnail. A gingerbread father, a mother, a son standing slightly forward, two smaller sisters behind him. That's not random. That's a family unit. And if you've ever been a parent, or a sibling, or someone who feels responsible for others, this hits different. Because suddenly this isn't about one cookie running away. It's about who gets eaten and who gets spared. Here's something I didn't know until recently. The gingerbread man story wasn't invented for children. When it was first written down in the 1800s, it was already ancient, passed orally for generations. And when folklorists started comparing versions, something strange appeared. In many early stories, there wasn't just one bread figure. There were families, loaves shaped as parents, smaller rolls shaped as children, homes made of grain. And those figures weren't toys. They were offerings. Across Europe, grain wasn't just food. Grain was survival. Grain was life. Grain was sacred. People believed the harvest carried a spirit, a living force that fed the village through winter. And that spirit didn't live in one loaf. It lived in the household. So families would shape bread into human forms, sometimes one, sometimes many. A mother loaf, a father loaf, children. And when winter came, those figures were consumed, together. Now think about the winter setting. Snow outside, no crops growing, nothing new coming from the earth. This is the season when people relied entirely on what was stored, and if the harvest spirit lived in the bread, then eating it wasn't destruction. It was survival. It was communion. It was the belief that by consuming the spirit together, the family would live together. This part got personal for me. Because when you strip away the myth, this is really a story about families doing whatever it takes to survive winter. Parents protecting children. Older siblings standing watch. Everyone sharing the same fate. And suddenly the gingerbread house isn't a fantasy. It's a memory. Then there's the running. Why does the gingerbread man run at all? Because in many harvest myths, the spirit tries to escape. It doesn't want to be eaten. It doesn't want to die. It sings. It boasts. It reminds everyone what it's endured. I was cut. I was ground. I was baked. Sound familiar? That's not arrogance. That's testimony. Now look back at the gingerbread son in the image. He's slightly ahead, protective, alert. In ancient stories, the eldest child often represented the future harvest. If one survived, the cycle continued. If not, everything stopped. So what if the gingerbread man isn't running for himself? What if he's running for them? And then there's the fox, the trickster, the smooth talker, the voice that sounds helpful, Across cultures, the fox represents time, hunger, and inevitability. Winter always comes. Food always runs out. And something must be eaten. Not out of cruelty, out of necessity. That's the part that makes this story uncomfortable. Because there's no villain, just nature, cycles, survival. And that's why these stories stayed with people. They weren't meant to scare children. They were meant to prepare families. Over time, these rituals softened. Sacrifice became story. Story became rhyme. Rhyme became Christmas decor. But the structure never changed. Family made from food. Winter. Consumption. Renewal. Even gingerbread houses, originally tied to famine stories like Hansel and Gretel, reflect the same fear. A house of food is only comforting until someone gets hungry. And that's when it hit me. The Gingerbread Man isn't the story. The family is. The house is. This is a myth about what families believed they had to give up so their children could see spring. A memory passed down so deeply, we now decorate it with candy and call it joy. So when I see this gingerbread family standing in the snow, I don't just see dessert. I see ancestors. I see winter. I see love mixed with fear. And I see a story that refuses to die. So if you're ready to keep uncovering what's been hiding in plain sight, subscribe. Because once you taste the truth behind fairy tales, you realize they were never meant to be sweet. Because if this fairy tale is really about sacrifice, family, and survival, then it raises a bigger question. How many other harmless stories were never meant to comfort us, but to prepare us? That's what I'll be exploring next.